Hi, I'm Richard from DPReview and I'm back with the Canon PowerShot V1, only this time I've got my photographer's hat on. In our other video, I found the V1 to be a pretty effective vlogging tool. Unfortunately, I didn't feel the same way as a photographer. On the plus side, it has a pretty big sensor and that unusually wide 16 to 50mm equivalent lens. But unfortunately, in practice, I just didn't particularly enjoy using it. For a start, that lens has a rather pedestrian f2.8 to 4.5 maximum aperture, which combined with its short focal lengths means you'll really have to work quite hard to get any sort of shallow depth of field or subject separation in your images. It also means it has to ramp up the ISO pretty quickly as the light levels fall. And this means that the image quality suffers in, for instance, social situations. The bigger problem I had though is I found it a bit of a handful in several senses. For a start, there's the fan, which makes it more reliable for vlogging, but means the body is bulkier than it would otherwise need to be. And then there are the controls, and this is where it really lost me. It doesn't have many control points, and those it does have are kind of small. There are very few buttons, and you don't get the click and command dial or exposure comp dial that you got with the G1X3 or G7X cameras. Instead, you get a fiddly rear dial that can't be customized, or a smooth rotating dial on the front, but this is primarily used to change settings that have discrete stepped values. So for instance, you'll need to use one of those buttons if you want to control the autofocus point using anything other than the touchscreen. It just doesn't have that level of direct control we'd expect from an enthusiast compact. It's the same thing that used to leave us pretty disappointed about Sony's RX100 series. And that's before you get to the lack of flash and electronic viewfinder that some of Canon's G-series cameras used to have. In fairness, even in its name, Canon tries to make clear that this camera is designed first and foremost for vlogging. And it does take nice pictures. And it does have a pretty solid, unusually wide-angle lens if that's what your photography demands. But we're just hoping that Canon isn't trying to address both the vlogging and the enthusiast photography crowd with the same product. Because having used it a bit, I'm struggling to maintain that enthusiasm.